Chapter 7. Locks, Tugs, and Waterfalls. Today, the Mississippi is one of the busiest rivers in the world. Lines of flat-bottom barges carry containers of grain, coal, sand, gravel, corn, soybeans, wheat, and other cargo up and down the river. Some haul timber or concrete. Tugboats push the barges as they guide them from behind. Ferries take passengers from one side to the other. Log rafts float down the river. Cruise ships steam from town to town. Piloting the Mississippi is not an easy job. The river widens and narrows and widens again and again. It is shallow in the headlands and deep in the south. In the upper river, pilots must make their way around rapids and waterfalls. Farther south, traffic increases as boats arrive from other rivers. The United States Army Corps of Engineers is in charge of the Mississippi. It is the job of these Army soldiers to make sure boats can move safely and efficiently up and down the river. When there are problems, they think of ways to solve them. The engineers measure the height of bridges and depth of water so that river pilots will know if it's too shallow for their boats to pass through. They design and build concrete dams that make places in the river deeper and wider. A dam is a wall across a river that can raise the water, hold it back, or move it in another direction. 29 concrete dams have been built to help river pilots move along the upper Mississippi. Waterfalls and rapids were a bigger problem to solve. How could pilots make their way around them? Engineers decided to build locks that would help move boats higher or lower. A lock is like an elevator in the river, but instead of cables moving an elevator car, water moves a boat up or down. Boats needing to move higher line up in the river and wait their turn. Sometimes large tugs and their barges have to wait for days. Boats wanting to enter the lock must first signal the lock operator and wait for a return signal to continue. A flashing red light and long blast means "Do not enter." A flashing green light means "Enter." The lock consists of two pools of water, one at the top and one at the bottom. When a pilot gets the signal to go, gates open and the boat enters a space like a chamber. Water from the upper pool flows into the lower pool through the valves. As more water pours in the lower pool, the boat rises. When it reaches the upper pool, gates at the other end of the chamber open and the boat carries on. Boats wanting to go down enter the upper pool. Water drains out instead of in through valves until the upper pool is the same height as the lower pool and the boat can move on. In the lower Mississippi, between Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and the Gulf of Mexico, the water is deep enough for very big ships. Dams and locks are not necessary in this part of the river, but there are other problems for the engineers to solve. Large ships from all over the world enter southern ports. Huge steel ships called tankers carry large amounts of oil, gas, and other liquids to and from the Gulf of Mexico. The engineers keep the traffic moving smoothly. Tugboats help many of them maneuver to and from the dock. Trucks wait for the boats to unload and carry the cargo along highways all over the United States. How a tugboat works. Tugboats, also called tugs, are the workhorses of the Mississippi River. They help other vessels maneuver through the water by pushing or pulling them. In the lower Mississippi, tugs guide oil tankers and other large ships in and out of crowded harbors. Tugs push or tow log rafts and other boats through narrow canals. Some help break up ice so boats can move along the upper river in the winter.